1890, Iran. A public execution was carried out using a cannon, a harsh punishment method of the era. 1945, France. 2 French men held down a woman while another cut her hair for collaborating with Germans. Such humiliation was common after liberation. 1950s. Women bid emotional farewells to loved ones through ship portholes before long voyages. Maritime travel was a primary means of transport. 1979, Santa Ana. 16-year-old Brenda Spencer left court after pleading guilty to a shooting that killed 2 and injured 9, citing an unusual motive. 1944, Naples. A wounded soldier received help from his friend. Henri Cartier-Bresson captured this moment of solidarity amid war. 1916, WWI. 2 German soldiers are shown during a time of brutal trench warfare, including Verdun and the Somme. Watu, London. A girl clutches her doll amid bombing rubble, symbolizing childhood resilience during the Blitz. 1930, Germany. Albrecht Huller is photographed after arrest for killing Nazi Horst Wessel, later turned into a propaganda martyr. 1956, a child meets his father, a World War II soldier, for the first time after years of separation. 1978, France. The Amoco Cadiz tanker broke apart, spilling 220,000 tons of oil in one of the decade's worst environmental disasters. 1988, Aloha Airlines Flight 243 lost its roof midair. Most survived, but a flight attendant died. Benjamin Ferencz, last surviving prosecutor of the post-World War II war crimes trials, served as chief prosecutor in 1947 and died recently. 1968, a soldier guards the U.S. Capitol with a machine gun during riots after Martin Luther King Jr.'s assassination. 1910, England. Mentally ill patients were confined under inhumane treatment methods, reflecting poor mental health understanding of the time. Early 1900s. 2 boys worked dangerous jobs in a textile factory, exemplifying child labor during the Industrial Revolution. 1970, Vietnam veterans protested with, "We won't fight another rich man's war," expressing anger over U.S. involvement. 1937, Nazi Germany. Hermann Goering demonstrated an exercise horse to Adolf Hitler in his lavish villa, highlighting Nazi elite lifestyles. 1945, Berlin. A plane crash left an aircraft lodged on a building's 5th floor, symbolizing wartime destruction. Post-World II, a British family joyfully reunites with a returning soldier named Hector, flags and welcome sign displayed. Calamity Jane visited Wild Bill Hickok's grave in Deadwood, where she was later buried beside him in 1903. 1853, the Clifford steam locomotive connected parts of New York, improving access to Coney Island. Late 19th century, outlaw William Doolin led the Wild Bunch, known for robbing banks and trains. 1930s, NYC, construction workers balanced on Empire State Building beams without modern safety gear. Australian soldiers from the 61st Battalion operated in harsh Pacific jungles near the Mozetta River. 1941, Tobruk. Soldiers wore gas masks while working in a strategic World War II North African stronghold. 1998, New Yorkers gathered in Times Square to watch the Seinfeld finale, a major cultural moment. 1916, Sigmund Freud posed with his sons during a key period of his psychoanalytic work. 19th century Egypt. A man with a decorated camel stands near the Nile, with the pyramids of Giza in the background. 1977, Iowa. Anita Bryant was hit with a pie by an LGBTQ+ activist in protest of her anti-gay campaign. 1937, one of only 2 known U.S. Supreme Court photos was secretly taken by a woman hiding a camera in her handbag. 1922, Philadelphia. One of the first mechanical traffic signals was manually operated, improving urban traffic flow. World War II, emotional goodbyes at stations and ports as soldiers departed for war, unsure of their return. 1880s, Paris. Construction began on the Sacré-Cœur Basilica bell tower, symbolizing recovery after the Franco-Prussian War. 1890, Japan. Archers practiced Kyudo, requiring focus and precision, rooted in samurai tradition. 1915, a formally dressed couple strolls elegantly in the afternoon, showcasing fashion of the era. 1932, farmers used anti-freezing machines to protect crops from winter frost. 1913, Manhattan. The Flatiron Building stood blanketed in snow during a severe blizzard. 1933, Germany. A Jewish WWI veteran wearing the Iron Cross is intimidated by a Nazi in front of his shop. 1967, Bolivia. Che Guevara is photographed with CIA agent Felix Rodriguez and soldiers shortly before his capture. 1920s, Italy. Soldiers aim rifles at a man as an officer gives an order, likely under Mussolini's regime. 1944, 773 Nazi soldier Jacob Nacken speaks with 503's Canadian Corporal Roberts after surrender. 1899, Camille Janazzi drives La Jamais Content, the first car to surpass 100 kilometers per hour, powered by electric motors. 1903, Sweden. A wedding photo shows early 20th century formal fashion and settings. 1923, NYC. Ma Odell becomes one of the first female taxi drivers, breaking gender norms in transportation. 1915, Peshawar. Elderly men sit on a mat, two stare intently, possibly rivals, showcasing local culture. 1941, Ruth Lee holds a Chinese flag to avoid being mistaken for Japanese after Pearl Harbor. 1930s, Joseph Goebbels is seen outdoors with papers surrounded by men in a formal setting. WWI, an alpine shelter on Monte Cristallo, served as a high-altitude refuge for Italian soldiers. 1941, NYC, public protests occurred before the U.S. officially entered World War II. 1930, National Museum, COV, firefighters conducted drills to protect valuable collections. 1959, Paris, Paul Newman and Joanne Woodward casually shopped, captured in a candid moment. 1923, New York, Ma Odell became one of the first women to drive a taxi, pioneering female roles in transportation during a time when few women worked such jobs. 1915, a busy New York street shows cars, carriages, and pedestrians, capturing the city's dynamic urban life. 20th century Venice, workers clean canals using barges to remove debris, a difficult and dirty job. 1930s, a massive stadium gathering reflects the scale of political rallies used to influence public opinion with grand symbolism. 1933, France, inventor Davide Cislaghi tested his futuristic single-wheel engine vehicle, showcasing early experimental vehicle design. 1898, London. Beefeaters, the ceremonial guards of the Tower of London, are shown in their traditional uniforms, a tradition dating back to the 15th century. The 1890, New York. The Dakota Building stands as one of the first luxury buildings built in 1884 with German Renaissance-inspired architecture. 1969, U.S. President Richard Nixon boarded the USS Hornet to welcome Apollo 11 astronauts after their historic moon mission, celebrating a major space exploration milestone. 1965, New York. Jack L. Hickman marched through Times Square with an anti-communist sign during heightened Cold War tensions. 1897, a woman churns milk while reading as a kitten watches, capturing a peaceful domestic moment from the past. 1919, California, the first A&W root beer stand opened, launching one of America's oldest fast food chains. 1863, Gettysburg. Abraham Lincoln is photographed during the National Cemetery dedication, where he gave the Gettysburg Address. 1942, Fort Worth. Women known as Rosie the Riveters work in factories, supporting World War II production while men fought abroad. 1950s, a woman mops her floor, illustrating household chores before modern appliances became widespread. 1930s, children wear handmade costumes to celebrate Halloween using cardboard masks and simple fabrics. 1910, London. Westminster Bridge bustles with traffic and pedestrians, highlighting its importance as a city landmark. 1890, Paris. A restaurant scene shows the city's late 19th century cultural and culinary vibrance. 1956, Brigitte Bardot's photo from the film And God Created Woman cements her status as a global beauty icon. 1950, Paris. Boulevard Saint-Germain is photographed, showcasing its cultural life and historic architecture. 1978, American WWI veterans gather for a reunion photo, symbolizing memory, shared hardship, and camaraderie. April 1945, acrobats perform atop a tank to entertain Soviet troops, contrasting wartime harshness with moments of levity. A space shuttle launch is shown illuminated on the pad, symbolizing NASA-led technological progress and humanity's space ambitions. 1986, New York. People play chess on Broadway, showing how citizens use public spaces for everyday leisure. 1965, Ford introduced a car with a built-in television, reflecting growing interest in automotive technology and entertainment.